flaws, imperfections, abnormalities. It's normal. Being a gifted kid means I have an enormous belief that everything I do has to be perfect. My behavior, grades, writing, assignments, like I said, everything. If I get one thing wrong, I will freak out, thinking I'm going to get an F in this class, my parents are going to kill me, or I'm in so much trouble. When in reality, it's a 2 to 5 minute fix. I know that perfection doesn't exist, but sometimes I want it to. My biggest point in perfectionism was 3 years ago in 2nd grade. I got my one and only C. When I got home, I was so worried that I told my brother what happened, which is really rare for me because it always seems as though he hates my guts, but this time I was desperate. He tried to calm me down, but it was no use. He wasn't helping at all whatsoever, so I just hid my book bag. I mean, my friends would look there, would they? Well, unfortunately, they did. They decided to check my book bag that day. They took the sheet of paper out my folder and said, "What is this?" All I could say was, "I am so sorry." My mother came behind me and said that it was okay. It was my first and hopefully last C. My father came behind her and said that I should never be scared to tell him something, and I shouldn't be worried if I did my absolute best. That put a lot of weight on my shoulders, and I learned something that day. What does perfection mean to you? Does it mean looking good? Does it mean being an idol to someone? Maybe it means getting an A, no sorry, A plus on every single test? Well, let's define what perfectionism, and perfectionist actually means. Perfect means to make something completely free of faults or defects. Perfectionism is a refusal to accept anything short of perfect. And a perfectionist is a person that refuses to accept anything short of perfect. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people, and the mob. This saying is very true. Perfection kills. Perfectionists see failures as deeply personal or insulting things. They think that's how a person sees them, as a failure. I have trouble asking for help because I think that a person will look at me like I don't know anything, like I'm stupid. As a perfectionist, you always tell yourself it's not good enough. I constantly say that this is bad, that everyone will hate it. I compare myself to others and I'm just beginning and they've been doing it for all their lives. Perfection really messes with you and it hurts your self-esteem. 87% of gifted people are perfectionists, which am I a part of. 85% have a low self-esteem problem. 60% of low self-esteem people believe that failing an assignment makes them a complete failure. 53% would rather focus on their fails than their successes. Nothing is more important than self-love. You have to love yourself before you love anyone else. Low self-esteem can cause eating disorders, social withdrawal, depression, and anxiety. You don't want those things. Those things aren't good for you in your life. In the song Pretty Hurts by Beyonce Carter, a lyric says, "Perfection is a disease of a nation." As she said, it affects, consumes, and pains just as a disease would. Did you know that 11 out of 20% of people that commit suicide are placed under heavy standards of perfection? Yeah, crazy, right? Well, it's not just perfection that does it. It's also the side effects that perfection causes, which are anxiety, muscle tension, headaches, digestive problems, heart problems, blood problems, memory loss, and more. We all know the saying, it's on the inside what counts, right? Well, it's not something people just say to try and cover you. It's true. When you're a perfectionist, you think that people base you off the assignments you do. Most times, they don't. And the times that they do, it's okay. They aren't worth their time if they think you're a failure for making little mistakes on a big assignment. Genuine people will spend time to get to know you, and they'll know that you're sweet on the inside, which brings me back to my point. Perfection can make you seem hard and charred on the outside, much like a burnt cookie or a marshmallow or something like that. But once people get to know you on the inside, they'll understand why you're this way, and then get to better understand you. There will always be something to fix, always something to improve, always something to be better, because you know what? That's the way of life. Imagine being in a world where everyone was perfect. That world would be filled with androids, robots, doing the exact same thing. We could all cook, we could all clean, we could all do somersaults off of the back of a building if you wanted to. Nothing would be special about yourself. Things change, people change, standards change, feelings change, and sometimes it's hard to understand that, but you have to. Mistakes make you human, and sometimes we forget that.